Hey, you guys. Happy Tuesday. It's Lisa Alexander, founder and executive director of Stand Up Survivor. Come on in real quick before I introduce our guests. I'm going to give you guys a chance to pop in. So I'm super excited. I have one of the survivors that I had the opportunity to work with sharing with us today. So come on in. Please don't forget to go and head over and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Send stars, share, let people know that we have a survivor that is going to be sharing her story tonight. So tonight I am joined by Rachel. Hey, Rachel.
Hi.
Hi. I am so excited that you are joining me tonight. I am so excited for your yes and being willing to share your story. How are you feeling? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yay. Awesome. Okay. So tonight I have some questions for you. I'm going to ask you to share a little bit about your story. And I know that you're a little bit nervous, and I get it. I was always nervous. And so I just want you to know that people are watching that care and that we want to hear your story. And like I told you before, we're going to save a life tonight. Ready? All right. So tell us a little bit about your story. I met you, I don't know, I feel like it's 3 years ago, maybe like 3 years ago.
2018.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah. Wow. And I met you in the throes of an abusive relationship.
Yeah, but
I wasn't even sure that it was an abusive relationship.
Right.
So let's talk.
Kind of thrown at us, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thrown at you in a weird way. So how long had you been in your relationship?
When I met you, 5 years.
Okay.
5.
Okay. And was the abusive
going on 6 years, sorry.
Okay, so almost 6 years. So was the relationship abusive the whole time?
Like the first year, I would say no. It started about a year and a few months in when I was pregnant with our first.
Okay. And it's interesting because that's when my abuse started too, is when I became pregnant. And I remember talking to you and you shared that the first year you thought was great, but when you look back after you learned about abuse, there were red flags all over the place.
Yeah, there were. It was like, you know, how they're so charming and like they want to show you off and they want to buy you this and they want to buy you that and like they want to earn your trust in different ways, but it's like he wasn't really earning my trust. He was doing things, but he was making me feel like he was doing good when it was really bad.
Okay, I get it. So it was like a love bomb. Hey, you guys, when you pop in, say hey, let us know where you're tuning in from so I can say hi. So it's more of like a love bomb. Like he was giving you all these things, buying you all these things. Yeah. And great.
And it I guess it was like his way to try to make me like feel special and not really see what he was really doing. I don't know. Like it's crazy now that I look back on it.
Yeah. Yep. But when you're in it, you have no idea what it is. But I love how you talk about you were in it for what, 6, 7 years. And the first year was great. Then all of a sudden things changed when you became pregnant. And statistically, that's when domestic violence starts or increases. Hey, you guys, hey, from Oklahoma, St. Louis, hey, you guys. So I definitely want to share something. When I met you, right, the reason I came into your life, and then it was like, I'm not in an abusive relationship. And I remember saying, hey, Rachel, something's not right. Something's off. And what would you tell me?
I would tell you everything's fine. It was so awkward. Like, I know you could feel it. It was so awkward. But, I mean, what could I really say to you?
Yeah.
Especially, you know, he's always around. We were never alone.
So I was assigned and I worked with both her and her abuser, her husband at the time. And I just knew something was off. And again, I've been doing this for a long time. But there were some signs, right, Rachel? So, like, I remember one time Rachel, she, like, made breakfast. But she didn't make breakfast for both of them. She just made breakfast for herself. And I'm sitting there like, well, why isn't this girl feeding herself? But she's serving him. And I was like, something went off. We weren't allowed to talk alone, right?
Right.
So there were
allowed to be alone.
No, we weren't allowed to be alone. There were just a lot of different red flags, you know. This is another one. Like, I remember I was like, I needed a piece of paper and you wouldn't touch his bag. He had to.
Yeah.
And I was, and
touch his bag.
Nope, not allowed to touch it. And I was like, why can't you touch it? What is going on? But Rachel didn't tell me anything. She kept denying. And I'm like, okay, no problem. Because why would you deny that anything was happening? Because I remember asking you, is everything okay? And you say yes.
What was I gonna do? How was I gonna tell you? Like, I was always with him. Like, where did I have a chance to really tell you and get away from it?
Right. And I really want people to hear that, because oftentimes someone will come in your life, a loved one, a friend, a family member, and want to know why you won't just leave. Well,
Right.
just tell me what's happening. Like, I'm going to put you in my pocket and leave. No, that's not the case.
It's
So you,
I feel like it's just not the case because they make you so dependent in every way possible on them, like financially, physically, emotionally, like everything that you own is theirs. Like, where am I supposed to go? And he knows that already. Like, my family doesn't have it like that, so he already knew I had nowhere to go. So me telling you, what was I gonna do for me? Like, I
yeah,
felt like, what were you gonna be able to do for me?
yeah. And you didn't feel like there was anything I could do.
No.
And I really want people to know this. If you love someone or know someone who's experiencing abuse, don't just think, oh my goodness, well, they must like, they just want to stay there, or why don't they just leave? It's so much more complex than that. And I just sat back and I thought, okay, all right. I just felt it, and I knew something was not right. And
I would say so much. What a lot of it was that I was very dependent on him, but I would say like the last few years was because it got more scary. Like, I got more threats and more, like, it was just more abusive. And then, like, the things he would say, and the, like, just the different weapons he would use, or like just different things he would do, it just got more scary to me, because the last couple of years I wanted to leave, even though I was so dependent on him, but I could not because I was literally scared. Like, it wasn't possible. Just
yeah.
wasn't.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that, because people need to hear that, Rachel. They think that people can just up and leave, and you couldn't. And let's just talk about the fact that you had two young children. You have two young children.
Exactly.
You know, and you didn't really have the family members that you could necessarily run to. So it wasn't like you could go anywhere. You were completely dependent on him, and he created it to be that way.
Yep. That was his plan, I guess.
Yep.
But
And so,
go ahead.
oh, no, you're good. You can go if you want.
Go ahead. I don't know what I was going to say.
That's okay. Okay, so now that you look at the situation, so there was a situation that came to a head, and I remember that day I was supposed to go over and I didn't go over. But God be knowing, I'm telling you. So that's a situation. He does. A situation came to a head, and you were able to get to safety, probably on one of the scariest days of your life, and you were able to get to safety that day.
Yes. I don't really know how to say it. Like, I guess because, he didn't care about the people around him or about himself. So he put himself in a position to where he ended up in prison. And it started with abuse towards me, and he never abused me in front of anyone, like, ever. But over the last year or so of our relationship, he started to do it, in front of his mom. And then that night he felt brave, I guess, and did it inside of our neighborhood. So our neighbors called the police, and obviously the police came to see what was going on, and he just made a really dumb decision. So he ended up going to prison, and I got really, really lucky, and that was my way out, because I can probably be 100% honest and tell you that if he didn't do that, I would probably still be stuck. Yeah. I can't even lie. Like,
yeah, that's deep, Rachel. And for a lot of women, their out is when they're arrested, or when they go to jail, or when a situation happens where they're forced to be able to leave them, I guess, for lack of a better term. And I'm thankful that happened for you, because you're safe and your babies are safe. Yeah. But you mentioned something earlier, how the violence escalated, because at first it was good the first year, then it started escalating, and it became more violent. The threats became, weapons were involved. And so it became more violent. And we tell people this all the time: domestic violence escalates, right? And it was getting worse and worse. And I remember that day was terrible for you. It was just a terrible day for her. And I'm thinking, I'm just really, really thankful that Rachel made it out. So I got a phone call and I said, this happened and Rachel's out. I'm like, oh my goodness. And the next time we met, she just told me everything that was happening in the relationship. And
how able to tell you everything then.
Yeah, she was. And how did it feel to be
able? Like, I met with my therapist like right after that too.
Mm-hmm.
I just cried because I didn't know what I was gonna do. I lost everything. I didn't care about losing him, but like, when he did that, I lost everything. Like, our car, our apartment. Like, I already felt like I was losing my kids. like I had no idea where I was going to go or what I was going to do at that point.
Yeah. And so not only did this incident happen, which was extremely traumatic, but you lose everything in the same moment. That in and of itself is so traumatizing. And I think it's one of the things that as survivors, we fear. We don't want to lose everything because we don't know what it's going to look like on the other side.
Especially when you don't have a job, you're not working and you don't have anywhere to go. So it's like, how am I going to get around? What am I going to do for money? Like, how am I going to get a job? How am I going to get to work? Like, how am I going to get my kids around? Where am I going to live? So it was a lot.
But I'm glad you mentioned those questions because we have people that are watching that have those same questions. Like, if I do leave, how am I going to do that? And we're going to get to your story, your current situation now in a second. But those are all questions in the midst of everything that you had. And so how did it feel to actually be able to tell myself and your therapist, because myself and her therapist were meeting with her, but she still wasn't telling us anything. So now that you were able to tell us, how did it feel to be able to just really tell us what was going on?
I think it felt really nice. Like, I never thought that therapy, like, I guess, I don't know if it's because he drilled it into my head, like, oh, therapy doesn't work, telling other people your business, and they just have a degree, they don't know your situation, blah, blah, blah. I guess maybe because he drilled that into my head that I thought the same thing, like, how is talking to someone else going to help? But, like, being able to, like, literally just spill it all to you guys, because I wasn't able to really spill that to anybody. I never talked to anyone. He isolated me from everyone pretty much. So it felt nice just to like say it, and I knew there were going to be no repercussions because he was going to prison. So like I was just allowed to say what I wanted to say and not worry about what was going to happen. So
yeah. And I remember sitting, I mean, every day we were in court together. We sat in court together, and I would just sit right next to her because court is terrifying. I mean, people don't understand how re-traumatizing experiencing a trial is for a victim of abuse. And to have to sit there day after day, it's terrifying.
It was crazy.
Yeah. And but you did, and we sat there every day. And we're like, it doesn't matter. You're strong. You're strong enough to do this. You are worth this. And we fought through it every day. And then, so tell us a little bit about what that process was like, going through the court system, getting your children back, all of that.
So going through the court system as far as the children it was exhausting, I would say, because I'm not gonna lie. Yes, when you're in an abusive relationship, they kind of take over the good mom that you want to be. Not that you're not a good mom, because you are and you want to be, but they don't allow you to be. Yeah. So certain things that I wanted to do, or like spend money on, or take the kids places, like with anything, it was never my choice, my decision, or I would be told no, or we don't have money for that, but yeah, we had money for him. Like, just so many different things. It's like you don't have that choice. So even though you want to be that good mom, you can't be that good mom. So then everybody looks at you like you're a bad mom because your children are in that position. And it's like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to get them out of this position? Even I want to. It's not that I don't want to. So then when everything was happening with almost losing them, I had to do like a whole case. And of course I was ready. Like I was okay, do it. Like I'll do it. I'll do my drug test. I'll take my classes because I know that I was capable of doing that. Like drug test me anytime you want.
And let me just clarify that they didn't take the children away because of her. Let me just say.
Yeah. So like that's even harder. And then
that was even harder.
Of the children being taken away, I have him in my ear when I didn't do what he wanted, saying, "Oh, well, you're not going to get your kids back. So neither are you." So clearly he didn't care. But then I would have that threat in my face of, I'm not going to get my kids back. Basically, he's going to ruin it for me. So, I wanted to do classes and everything. But then, like, he wouldn't let me meet with Lisa. He put it to the point where I couldn't even meet with Lisa, even though I wanted to, because he didn't want to. And then when he went to prison, obviously it was my choice. So I just started doing everything. I did all my classes. But I guess everyone kind of already knew that it was him and not really me. But I did all my classes. I passed all my drug tests. I showed, growth. And I showed them that I knew what was wrong. And literally, the first or second day of his trial, I literally got the email that I could have my kids back. And I was like showing Lisa, and I was like so excited because it's crazy. Like I'm going through his trial, putting him away, and then I got my kids back. So,
and I remember that day in court when she got her kids back, y'all. It was the best.
Like, DCF is just not something you want to play with.
Yeah, it's hard,
it's stressful, and it's hard, especially when you know that your kids are literally like your all. Like, and all you want to do is be a good mom. Like,
yeah.
Like, I didn't have boys. Like, I wasn't, putting that, like, I wasn't hurting them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's a toxic situation. And
thank you, Charles, by the way, brother. I see you. So I just want to say, working with the DCF and the Child Protective Services is really difficult for women that are experiencing abuse. And I'm not even going to get on that soapbox tonight because the dynamic is different. You're not physically harming your children. You're in an abusive relationship. And you probably would leave if you could. That's not always the case. As I've worked with survivors who would rather stay in the relationship than get their children. But that was not your case. And so I fought for Rachel, like she wants her kids back. She's doing what she needs to do. Let's get this woman her kids back. She can care for her children. He is behind bars. This was where the threat was to her, first of all, and to her children, right? And she's okay. So he got locked up. She got her children back. And I remember, because let's go back, because Rachel said, what do I do now? I have no job. I have no car. I have no place to live. Literally. That's like facts, right? What do I do? She did her case plan. She did the work. There was nothing easy about what Rachel did to get her kids back and to create the life that she has now. And so let's talk about that a little bit because, I just love it. And I'm just so proud of her. And it always makes me, all the survivors I work with, really, they get me emotional. But I literally watched Rachel sit in front of me like 3 years ago. She was like, I'm fine. Everything's wonderful. Nope. Nothing's going on, to a flourishing mom, taking care of her own. So let's brag on you a little bit because you deserve it. So what does life look like now? That was 2019
that he
19.
So it was like 2 years ago, last month, that he was sent to prison.
Right.
For sure, like prison.
Prison.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, let's just go back because even from prison, there was intimidation, there was threats, there's all kind of stuff going on, and I'm like, and it was scary.
Yeah, no.
And people think it stops, but it doesn't just stop just because you leave or they're locked up.
Yeah, no, it was still scary. I don't care now anymore. Mm-hmm. But I would say like that first year, I was still scared. Like thought that he would, have somebody come to my home, and like he still did anything wrong. But I don't talk to him, no communication. But he was very intimidating the first year.
So let's talk about life now. What does life look like for you now? How did you build your life back?
So my first goal was getting my babies back. That was just it. Like I was okay, he's gone. I'm getting my babies back. So I got my babies back. And like right after I went to prison, I applied everywhere. And there was one specific place that I wanted to work at. And thank God I got hired to that place. And then I saved my money. And I started with a car because I knew I needed a car to get back and forth from wherever I needed to go. So I got a car, and then I want to say March, April, May, June, July, 6 months after he went to, he did what he did and went to jail, is when I got me and my children our first place alone.
Ooh, I just get so excited. I'm sorry. I get excited every time. It's exciting every time. Sorry, go ahead.
No, so I started, like I said, I got my kids back, I got the job, I worked and got my car, and then I got our place, and I love having my own place. Like me and him obviously lived on our own since we were like 18, but like to have all my own stuff, like I bought it, I paid for it, it's mine. Nobody can take it from me. Nobody can tell me that, they paid for it, they worked for it. I can say what goes where, when it goes, where going, where the kids going, what I'm doing with the kids, what I'm doing with my money. Like it's just all mine. And
yeah, because you would earn money and he would take it. And I remember Rachel would say, she was like, I just want to buy something nice for the kids, and he wouldn't let her. Whether it's clothes or what toys, he would have let you.
And I'm not even gonna lie, the first year of like after he went to jail, it was pretty lonely. Like it's something you have to get used to. It's a big difference. Like you're lonely. You don't know what to do with your free time. Like when the kids are in daycare and I off that day, like I just sat at home and I was like, I cannot sit here. I cannot do this. Like what am I like I feel like I would low key be like kind of depressed, like so lonely. But after that, like girl, I need that. I'll lay on and watch my show. Like
Yeah, I'm glad you said that though, because people experiencing the loneliness and sometimes they go back if that opportunity because they're lonely. But you pushed past that. Even that stage of depression, you pushed past that.
Yeah.
So what is life like now? Tell us.
It's great. I mean, it's so weird to me to think that that was once my life. Like, it's really weird. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I think about it all the time, and I'm like, it's so crazy that I just woke up today. Okay, I'm gonna go here now. Take the kids here. Go here. I'm gonna buy this, and then we're gonna go home. We're gonna go to bed. Like, it's just weird. Like, I'm so used to seeing him, in my passenger seat. Like, just sitting there, telling me where to go, what we're doing, what we're gonna buy, what I can and can't spend money on, or he's gonna spend all the money on himself, or like it's just weird. Sometimes it doesn't even feel real, but it's crazy.
But it's so real. It's so real. And I remember Rachel's first birthday, right? Alone, like when he was locked up. And I remember because you told me about the year before the birthday when he locked you out of the house.
Yeah.
Right? It was like in the middle of like 4:00 in the morning or something on your birthday.
Cold outside, yes.
And it was cold outside. And so the year after, a year later, she decided, you know what? And I had done the same thing. My birthday is going to be so. She did an amazing birthday with her closest friends. And it was night and day from the year before when he had locked her out of their own house in the cold and had her sitting outside.
It was crazy. Like just to think like a whole year later, I'm living it up in a cabin in Tennessee. Like, yes. And I was just locked out of my house. Like,
yep.
But I said, never again.
That's right. Never again.
Ever again. Like,
that's right.
Let a man just shut up. I'm not even playing.
I mean, that's the life you created for yourself, though.
Yeah, right? It's so funny because my coworker, like, because they always say, like, you never know what somebody has been through or what they're going through. And, like, my coworker, like, one of my newer coworkers, we were talking about something because people, they'll just ask you questions. And she's like, oh, my God, you would have never knew. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, so you never, like, hit back? And I was like, girl, did you want me to die? I would have died. Like, if I didn't get locked up, I'd probably be dead right now. But did you want me to die sooner? Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, you just seem so, like, feisty. She's like, you don't let people talk to you. I said, oh, you're right. Today? No, ma'am. I said, it's not happening today.
Right. We learned that. That's a learning process.
Exactly.
These thoughts before are very, very different. And, people always say, why didn't you just hit back? Listen, hello. Might have been, it just wouldn't have worked out how you thought it would have. So, no.
Props to all the women that do hit back. Like, good for you.
Yes, but that wasn't the case.
But I would have died.
Yeah. And your level of danger in the relationship that you're in. Yeah. But Rachel just recently, the first car you had a co-signer or something. In this car, she just got a big car.
So the first car put a big behind down payment, and it took
I remember that
I had to get it, like everything. It took me everything.
But I'm so glad you said that too. You put so much money down. You gave everything just so you could have a vehicle for yourself. Literally everything.
Yeah, it was so hard. And I mean, it was just in my name, but it was a used car, and it was just it wasn't exactly what it was. It was a car that I was okay with because I told him I was like, I'm fine with this car. Yeah. Like, get me in it, please. I said I need a car today. But yeah, and then I just bought my first brand new 2022 car a couple weeks ago.
Celebrate.
I worked for it.
And she works hard, and those are some spoiled children. They do everything and go everywhere, and she buys her kids and takes care of her kids and does the things that she wants as a mother. So before I let you go, lots of comments over here, really supportive, say that they're so proud of you. You're so strong, Rachel. What would you say to someone who is in a situation that you were in before?
I'm going to be completely honest, and I'm not going to tell you that it's easy because it's not, and I'm not going to tell you that it's not scary because it is. And I can't even tell you that I would have been able to do it because, like I said, in a way, I did get lucky. Like, he was stupid enough to go to prison. But at the end of the day, like, even if you have, like, no family to go to, there are places you can go. Like, leave. Like, just, it might take a little bit of time. Like I said, that whole year I was lonely, but you'll literally, once you get past that, it's so unreal. Like, you'll be so happy. Like, just knowing that there's so much more to life than literally being controlled by another person. It's crazy. I don't have words for it because it's crazy. Like, I would never let somebody control me ever again. Like, I'm me, and I'm such a free spirit, and I just like to have fun. And like, you only have one life, and it's literally so short. It really is. And the fact that I wasted 7 years of it because I didn't think I could get away, I thought I was in love at first, I guess, but like, go, just go. No matter if it's a shelter you need to go to, like, literally you can do it. There are so many options that will help you, like with childcare and like jobs. There's, especially now, you can go get a job tomorrow. But like,
So
I don't know. Like,
that was good advice.
You don't need to be in what you're in. Like, it's sad. It really is so sad. And I get so emotional when I like hear of these stories, and like I talk to, like, it's just crazy. Just go. Just, even if you have kids. I know kids makes it so much harder because it really does. It really does. But like, people are being honest when they say it's better for your children to see you happy than it is for you to be in the 2-parent household. You know what I mean? Like,
that's it. So much better for you to be safer and happy.
Yeah. And I mean,
that's not.
You got a co-parent, but.
Well, I am so proud of you, Rachel. I love watching you soar and flourish and just love everything about who you are becoming as a woman.
I literally wouldn't have been able to do anything I did if you weren't there. So
thank you. Well,
literally, it's all because of you. Literally,
I'm proud of
her for everything. She went to everything I needed her to go to, even if she didn't need to be there. She went for me because she knew I was scared or upset. She was there, and she always told me, "You can do this. You can do this. I'm right here," and I did it.
And you did it. Yeah, and you continue to do it, and I continue to be proud and emotional about you because I was there with you in the trenches, and I watch you now, and I celebrate you, and I always will. So thank you so much for sharing your story and being transparent and honest, because that's never easy. But we celebrate you, and thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you guys later, okay? Hey, anything else you want to say? I didn't even say that. Anything else you want to say?
No, I think that was it.
Okay. All right. I'll see you guys later. See ya.
Bye.